Hello, and welcome to the Liquidity event. We're your hosts, AJ.
And John, pinch hitting for Shane Mason, who's off at summer camp this week.
Oh my God. This is episode 55 being recorded on Wednesday, August 17th, airing on Friday, August 19th. Yes, Shane is at summer camp this week. It's actually really cool.
We sent him off.
We
just said, hey, Shane, we think you need this. Have you ever seen the movie Heavyweights from the 90s? Kind of like that.
He's making friends. He's learning how to build friendship bracelets. But no, actually, shout out to Shane and X Camps. It's called Experience Camps. It's a really great program for kids who have lost a parent. So it's like a bit of grief counseling, a little bit of psychology work, while also regular summer camp with tug of war and kayaking and stuff. So
teach them how to throw football, that kind of stuff. That's awesome.
So it's great. We're happy for Shane, and I think I'm excited to hear the report next week. It's either going to be great or terrible, and I think it's going to be great.
Shane and I have actually talked about sending you off to summer camp at times, AJ. So maybe coming summer 23.
Everyone would benefit from that. I'm too competitive for summer camp. I would not do well at summer camp. Anyways, what are you doing? What are you up to, John? You're not at summer camp.
I'm not at summer camp. I'm watching Only Murders in the Building season 2, which dropped recently on Hulu, but they roll them out like a new episode every week, so I can't just binge it, which has been tough. But
terrible.
Martin Short, Steve Martin, Selena Gomez, love it. So
I've heard very good things about it.
What are you watching or reading?
Nothing. Oh, that's not true. I'm reading Ben Hogan's 5 tips for golf practice or whatever, because I'm trying to teach myself how to play golf, and it's not going very well. But I'm also reading the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies in America, because Brooklyn FI is number 563.
63, top 12%, baby.
Shout out to us for fast growing. No, it was really cool to see that we were recognized. Yeah, we're growing pretty fast. Not as fast as the other 562 people in front of us, but a lot faster. But it's the 5,000. It's out of 5. Then I'm not going to do that math live on the podcast. Anyway. No, that was cool to see. Good for us. We're growing fast.
The only reason I saw it is because the Crumble Cookie CEO posted something on LinkedIn, and so I clicked on the link to search to see if we were on it, and I think we're higher than the cookie people, so that was exciting.
Faster than crumbling cookies.
Yes.
Amazing.
No, it's very exciting. And then I'm also it's kickball playoffs this week, so Summer League, Adult, Beer League, kickball here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Kickball championships tomorrow night. So by the time this airs, we'll know if we won or not. Our team is undefeated. We're the number 1 seed. And so wish us luck. My nickname is Number Crunchy because I keep the stats. That's why.
Nobody cares. Okay, moving on. Any exciting IPOs this week?
Innovative Eyewear. I don't know if this is exciting, but it's an IPO.
Yeah. What their revenue is $1 million? $1 million?
Something
not
like
to knock them. That's great. We love to see it. Anyway, this is a micro cap IPO. Went public this week. The ticker is Lucy, Lucy, which is
That's
Lucid
cool
Eyewear. Yeah, I know. Why wasted on this? Anyway, sorry, that was rude. Sorry, Lucid. They are doing smart glasses. So remember Google Glasses? Those weird dorky things that allowed you to Google shit?
You could go watch porn in a park with somebody else knowing.
What? Oh, that's the use case?
I don't know. That's what I think it was. Yeah. And that's why people are like, this is creepy.
Anyways, so Lucid they've got, they're Bluetooth glasses. So you can listen to music. You can control things with your eyes in your glasses. There
already are glasses that have speakers built into them. That's not a foreign thing. To have.
I think their differentiator is that they look cool, and they actually do look cool. The Google glasses just looked weird. Yeah, they just made you look creepy. And these actually are cool aviators and nice hipster frames with tortoiseshell. So I don't know, could be cool.
If you're watching porn on your glasses in the park, you are creepy. Let's just be clear about that. I read the note here, and it's we are designed to allow customers to remain connected to their digital lives. And I think I'm connected enough to my digital life. I don't think I need my glasses to be smart. I want dumb glasses. I'm fine with dumb glasses.
I know.
But it's my hot take.
Yeah. What's your take on Apple Watches? Are you an Apple Watch guy?
I'm a Garmin guy. I mean, I track my steps. I use it for all my running and stuff. I don't know if I need to be that plugged in. I've thought about like upgrading. I'm back and forth. I'm more okay with that than like the glass thing.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah.
Do you have an Apple Watch?
I'm anti-Apple Watch. I don't.
You're a watch person, though.
I love watches. I love beautiful watches, not tech, not a phone on your wrist.
Yeah. You're not trying to be Inspector Gadget.
No, and I know people love them, and that's cool for them. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about knocking other people's habits, because that's important. I think that's like a theme of today. Is like people just like shitting on other people's like lifestyle choices. So I don't mean to shit on Apple Watch users. It's just not for me. Anyway, speaking of shitting on people, big news of the week in the VC space.
Big one for us to shit on here.
Oh boy. The article title, Andreessen Horowitz announces plans to invest in Adam Newman's new residential real estate company. I'm glad they called it a real estate company. So that's a step in the right direction.
So basically here, there's very little description here, but this company's called Flow, and the quote from the article is effectively a service that landlords can team up with for their property, somewhat similar to the way an owner of a hotel might contract with a branded hotel chain to operate the property. Is this bullshit where somebody's trying to get a tech valuation for a property management company?
Yes.
Is that all this is?
This is WeWork. This is WeWork V2. And look, I mean, my question is, can Mark Andreessen not afford Apple TV? Like, did he not see We Crashed? Like, is he not familiar with this story? Like, I'm sure there's something.
Oh, they love second chances. I read the article. It's like we love giving people second chances to learn from their lessons.
Mark Andreessen, obviously very, very, very smart person, invested in Meta, aka Facebook, Airbnb, a bunch of other winners, and arguably tech that change the way we live and operate in a digital world. So like big, futurist, like great thinker, giving Adam Newman a second chance. Not so sure.
I don't know. It wouldn't be high on my list of people to throw how much money? I don't even remember how much money.
$350 million.
$350 million at? Yeah.
So
I'll put my $350 million somewhere else.
Yeah. And well, there's something there's something we're missing, but to the folks in our community who, read this press release, there's not a lot of information. We don't have business plans yet. There's just a placeholder website that says coming 2023. But it really looks like Adam Newman used his, $1.2 billion that he got from WeWork to buy up all these apartment buildings in Atlanta. And he's going to use tech to manage them. I don't know.
I'm kind of stuck on, apparently one of the things in the article talked a little bit about like rent to own potentially, which rent to own always feels like a scam to me. It's like, how do we like dangle the carrot out in front of people who might not otherwise be able to get a mortgage or buy a pay-it place and make them think they're making progress, but they're never going to be able to buy it. I just think a lot of people get screwed over through that.
I don't know. I disagree there with rent to own. If someone can crack rent to own, and if that's what this is, you can have my 350. If they can figure it out,
to screw people over and string them along is the question.
Right. It's like, it's exactly. It's like the promise. It's like, it's paying off a loan that it's like student loans when you do the income based repayment, which is like kind of a great program if you never are going to make over a certain amount of money. And then once you start making over a certain amount of money, you have this massive tax bomb of hundreds of thousands of dollars of all the interest that's accrued that you can literally never pay off. So that's, I think, kind of what you're referring to, John, in terms of like what rent to own like could end up being. Like it seems good, it seems great, but no one's ever actually able to execute on it.
Exactly.
So I mean, this seems, I don't know. I'm skeptical. Adam Newman had such a spectacular fail upwards of screwing over all of the early WeWork employees. WeWork finally did go public via SPAC. It's been unimpressive in its performance in the market. So I don't know. I'm a skeptic here.
It's kind of the canary in the coal mine, I feel like, for some of the stuff that we've seen. Last year that didn't go well. Companies still went public, but it doesn't look great. WeWork was a bit of the canary in the coal mine, I think.
Is he just bored? Is there just like not enough like other things to invest in right now? Like
maybe not.
$350 million. That's a lot of money, even for a huge, even for A16Z. Like there are how many other companies are not getting funding right now because all of this went to stinking Adam Newman, who doesn't need the money because he's got.
He's okay. You got a nice golden parachute to leave. So
he's fine. Oh, we're shitting on tech billionaires today, aren't we?
We are going Yes, we are totally shitting on tech billionaires because Zuck was saying there's probably a bunch of people at our company who shouldn't be here, which is exactly what you want your boss to say at an all-company meeting. We haven't said that here.
This guy is such a prick.
He is. And like no social cues whatsoever. But here's my thing, okay? Facebook knows so much crap, or Instagram, or whatever. I'm not really on Facebook, but Instagram, pick of their platform. They know so much crap about me. Like, I think about buying something, I don't say it out loud, and it shows up in an ad. Okay, it's so creepy, but they can't tell which of their employees are being productive and which ones are slacking off. And now
they know that their employees are on Instagram shopping all day. Like, they literally have that.
Because they know that. I guess it's that side of it. But like, you think there'd be like a better accountability system than having to just shit talk your employees in an all company Zoom meeting?
Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, this is a business standard article basically saying, like, it's not just Zuck, it's also Sundar Pichai at Google, who is saying there's too many employees, but no one's working enough. And the best quote from this is, Zuck's quote about you shouldn't be here. But he also said, and part of my hope by raising expectations and having more aggressive goals and just kind of turning the heat up a little bit is that I think some of you might say this place isn't for you. And that self-selection is okay with me. So look, I mean, that's one leadership approach to say, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. But also it's okay for people to take mental health days if they're working really hard. I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's like the catch-22 of these tech companies, like high salaries, high equity compensation. Like, they expect you to work 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks for those salaries. Like, you're going to need to take some time off. Like, you're going to need to have a mental health day. He literally had a breakdown because people were out of the office when they weren't able to attend like all hands meetings, and that like pissed him off. He's like, you're not in the office. It's like, it's the summer, dude. Like, get over it.
I mean, and I don't know. I mean, we work with a lot of clients in big tech and startup tech, all over, run the gamut. Like, AJ, I don't know anybody who's resting and vesting. Do you? I mean, I've never met a client who's like, I'm just so freaking bored at work and I make $400,000 a year. Like,
no, our clients are like, I'm so busy.
People, or get that job. But
I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed out. I don't have 15 minutes to get on the phone with you. Can you help me handle this via email? And we're like, yeah, of course. But I agree. Like, yeah, there's. I don't know any slackers at Facebook. But anyways, this is so depressing. Do we have any good? Can we skip anything like exciting this week? I don't think we have anything.
I wanted to shit talk Rivian a little bit. If we can do
sure.
that.
You want to shit talking? All right. Keep going.
Yes. I'm not done. Okay, so Rivian's talking about their production guidance.
I love Rivian, so watch your words carefully.
So Rivian went public last year. They make electric trucks, cars, you know what I mean?
Really they make cool luxury sport utility vehicles. So if you love Land Rovers or Range Rovers and you don't want to pollute the environment, you might enjoy a Rivian.
Yeah, okay.
Hashtag Rivian girls.
Okay, you might as well get in line because Rivian made 4,400 cars in Q2 and is expected to make 25,000 cars in 2022, despite the fact that it has a market cap of $33 billion. Okay? Ford has a market cap of $66 billion and they make 1.7 million cars per year. This is nuts. Am I the only one? This is crazy.
It is crazy. Here's my counterpoint. So Apple showed us that like one revolutionary product can like change the world and can take your company from being worth a few $1 billion to a few $1 trillion in less than a decade, right? iPhone, Apple Watch, AirPods, like all of these products are so important and so revolutionary. So with technology that's as new as electric vehicle technology, we have Tesla. That works. They've figured out production, sort of, big asterisk. Kind of. Like it's so new that you can't really compare apples to apples, and it's such a crazy. It's like building a spaceship, right? Like NASA spends billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, and then they make a spaceship like 2 decades later, right? So it's kind of the same thing where you have to have like all this R&D, you have to test it, you have to get your supply chain right. It's brand. They spent 10 years developing the tech. So my counterpoint is that it's a big bet, and give them a chance. And yes, they're doing only 25,000 cars, but last year it was only like 200 cars. So
well, I understand, but like Ford's been making cars for like 100 years. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying there's not a space for disruption in the automobile industry. I just think some of these valuations are crazy.
I agree with you. But if you take the kind of philosophy around like ESG investing, which is that if your company is not focused on what the world is going to look like in 20 years, you're going to fail. So yes, Ford right now has a $66 billion market cap. Rivian literally half of that with 1/100th of the production, or even less than that. But Rivian is going to be that company that's going to be here in 20 years or 30 years, and Ford is not, unless they get smart with EV tech, which we both know that they are. So maybe I'm wrong.
Ford's going to be here. I mean, I'd be very surprised if they weren't. But yeah, it's kind of funny. You know, let's just keep shitting on things. Malcolm Gladwell's getting shit on like crazy. In terms of his little rant.
Most hated man on the internet. Yeah.
Yes.
Most hated man on the internet this week. What did he actually say? What was his tweet? He was just like, "Oh, everyone's just like sitting at home, like hanging out and not working.
In their bedroom in their pajamas, working from the." Okay, first of all, I call BS on that because I've worked from home for basically 2.5 years now, almost, and like I've never showed up to work in my pajamas. Okay.
I wear my pajamas every day on the bottom half. On the top half, I'm professional.
I'm very professional. Got my Liquidity event sweatshirt on, like the classy dude I am. But, I just think there's no one size fits all answer to this. It's like, what's your true company culture? Can you do your job from home? Can you collaborate? And I guess they can't do that at Pushkin, where they're cranking out podcasts. But we're cranking out a podcast, and I haven't seen you in person in, a month and a half. We're doing just fine.
Right. Yeah. So Malcolm Gladwell, for those who don't know, he wrote Outliers, kind of like big thinker, like great ideas. I mean, it's funny. Shane was like reading Outliers at a conference recently. And, like people were like shitting on him, like, "Oh, you're so basic reading Outliers." Like that stuff is
Shane
interesting.
Shane discovered Malcolm Gladwell like 2 months ago. Okay. Which is kind of like really crazy.
Anyway, interesting. Yeah. They're books that make you think because he has all these observations and he aligns the data nicely to back up his points. I like the guy, right? I think and so Pushkin Industries is kind of like his company where he does, he takes all of his ideas and puts them in blog posts and podcasts and all that stuff.
Yep.
So he's saying he can't get his employees to go back to work and he's pissed off about it. But yeah, I agree. Like we're gonna be arguing about working from home till the end of time. Like there's not a solution to this. For some companies it works. For some companies it doesn't. Like at our company, we're 100% remote. Like, I think it works pretty damn well. However, there are some times where I'm like, we're sitting on a Zoom all day and we're not getting anywhere. And yeah, if we were in a room together, having lunch, taking breaks, like maybe we would have better ideas. But when we get together twice a year for our retreats, people just complain that we're doing too much work and they just want to like go hang out and do karaoke and get drunk. Like, so I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah. I did like the one quote from the article, though, that was, "No shit, Malcolm Gladwell thinks I'm not good at working from home yet. I've only been doing it for 8,792 hours. Malcolm Gladwell being the guy who says in order to become an expert at something and become good at it, you need to do it for 10,000 hours.
10,000? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
That's funny.
I thought that was great.
Oh, I didn't even get that. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was great. That was Ginny Hogan. Amazing.
Yeah, I was laughing. I was laughing at that one. I'm like, I know this reference because I've read a bunch of his books. I listened to his podcast, and I really do like Malcolm Gladwell. I don't agree with this hot take here, but nonetheless.
But I don't know, like the idea of working from home, it's not for everyone. And I think there's a lot of like people, by TikTok or whatever, Instagram, like my company is making me go back to work, so I'm quitting. Like, okay, great. That's not a culture fit for you. You've adopted to working from home. You love it. Maybe you're able to spend time more time with your kids. You don't have to sit in your car for 2 hours a day. Like, great. That company, not a good fit for you. They're not going to change. So get a different job. Like, I think
there are some people that we've interviewed here that we realize would thrive better in an office environment. They're not a fit here. If they want to work in an office and do that thing, that's important.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if someone at Brooklyn FI said, I really like working here, but like I'm lonely in my apartment and I'm an associate. I'm not at that salary level yet where I can afford the 2-bedroom apartment with a separate office, and this sucks. I want to go make friends and meet my spouse. Like, great.
Absolutely.
We're not a fit for you.
Well, speaking of meeting your spouses, speaking of generational gaps, this is a very interesting article from the Wall Street Journal talking about inflation widening the gap between married couples and their single friends. And so this was the median net worth of married couples aged 25 to 34 was nearly 9 times as much as the median net worth of single households in 2019. And the latest inflation pandemic trends have only exacerbated that income differential.
I just slid right in there at age 34.
Oh, is that how old were you when you got married? Oh, just in the data?
No, I'm 34.
You were younger than when you got married.
Yeah, I was younger than that. I don't remember. I was 30-ish.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think this is interesting. Not a surprise, right? Because living alone, higher fixed costs in terms of rent, utilities, health insurance, just shit that gets wasted. But there's a very high cost of cohabitating, which is you have to live with someone. And that is worth at least about $5,000 a month.
He's a 4, but he's got a 2-bedroom apartment in Greenpoint. Like, I'm in. You know? I mean, I have done this. I have cohabitated for financial reasons before. No shame. 3 times. 2 of those times I should not have done it.
Got it right on the third try, right?
Got it right on the third time's the charm, as they say. Fool me once, shame on me. But no, I mean, it's the financial system, the tax system is built for married people, right? So it's like you get to go on your partner's health insurance, which you potentially can do if you're not married, if you're a domestic partnership. So if you are hanging out with someone and you're not married and you don't have plans to get married, explore a domestic partnership. That's cool. I did that for a couple of months before we got married, which was really awkward because you have to like annul your domestic partnership before you can get married. And that was like a weird step that isn't really talked about much.
Does the bishop get involved, or is it?
Yeah, it was like a little like there was some different city halls involved in that. And I was like, oh, weird. Like we literally couldn't get our marriage license signed until the domestic partnership was dissolved. So I wonder if there are illegal marriages out there because those partnerships never
Interesting. That's very interesting. I never ever knew that much about it. But.
Yeah. You know, you learn getting married is a whole paperwork clusterfuck in its own. Love the whole.
Not worth it.
Idea of it, but Chano, it's not worth it.
Anyway, next topic. Where are we at? Oh, Taylor Swift and all these folks on their private jets. This is where I'm going to riff on rich people, not for stupid investments, or rich people for their arrogance in their team meetings when they're running mega tech companies, but for their arrogance around ESG and the environment when it comes to their private jets. And so this was an article put together by one of like these big ESG blogs, talks about how Taylor Swift, Floyd Mayweather, Jay-Z, A-Rod, Blake Shelton, a bunch of other people, Kim K, are taking all these trips on their private jets. And like, AJ, some of these are like 35-minute flights, 60-minute flights that they're taking, you know, all over the place, polluting up the environment.
I mean, have you ever tried to drive from Malibu to Studio City?
I have not.
Exactly. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's like, I agree. It's like these crazy short flights. I mean, I'm a worrywart. I mean, I love flying and I'm good at, like, I'm not nervous when I fly, but like Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter crash, like the Kennedys, like every time I hear people like bouncing around on private jets, I'm like, you guys, Aaliyah, like there's so many, like your risk of death. I mean, I'm sure the percentages are still minimal, but like my like weird paranoid brain
not
is like
commercial.
Yeah, you guys like don't just like bop around because you can, like bop around out of necessity. But yeah, it's incredibly polluting to run a private jet. And for these little flights, the actual fuel required to get you off the ground is astronomical as compared to like what you're actually doing. So, but the best was Taylor Swift. When someone asked her about it, she was like, well, I wasn't on those flights. I was like loaning it out to other people. It's like, what? That is not a good argument, Taylor. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh my God. We literally are just shitting on billionaires today.
That's all right. I'm good with it.
Okay. Billionaire. All right, we're bad at segues today for some reason. I think because we're jumping around.
We're jumping around a little bit.
Speaking of private jets, billionaire Robert Brockman definitely used a private jet to fly to visit his app.
Oh, I don't think he did. He was a big cheapskate. He used to stay in cheap motels.
Right. Well, I was going to say he somehow flew to these islands where he was offshoring potentially up to $5 billion that was not reported to the IRS. So he went down in flames and unfortunately just passed away recently while he was awaiting trial for defrauding the American taxpayer.
Fortunately or unfortunately for him, for not having to go to jail, I guess.
Never like to celebrate death.
Oh, no, I'm not celebrating in that regard, you know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yes, in his old age, he didn't have to go to jail as an old man.
But yeah, this guy was a total cheapskate. I get the vibe of like, you know, the perspective. I've seen this like perspective client, like, what can I do on my taxes to, you know, take care of anything? And I'm like, that's not how it works.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, I mean, to the nth degree. He ran a software company for automotive dealerships. It's like already kind of feeling a little shady. And then we go to the level of like offshore assets of billions of dollars.
So here's the question. So dude doesn't choose a cheapskate, doesn't necessarily need a lot of money to live on, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's worth, by some accounts, 7 billion, by some other accounts, 4 billion. If he had just paid the taxes on that and not ruined his life by being indicted by the federal government, he would have been left with at the minimum $1 billion, which
probably a lot more than that. Yeah.
Like after paying highest taxes, paying 60%.
Yeah.
Which he wouldn't have anyway, because it would have all been in investments, but still he would have been left with $1 billion. And now instead of, maybe he was trying to protect the legacy for his kids, but now the legacy for the kids is that my father was a crook. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate this shit.
Nice try.
You know who loses? The American taxpayer. That's who loses.
American taxpayer loses. Well, guess what? Inflation Reduction Act, they're going to get all those 84,000 new IRS agents. And so they'll be cracking down. Or maybe at least answering the phone and not shredding and burning the documents that we send them.
We should do a check-in on the IRS call wait time for professionals versus the regular taxpayer. So for those listeners who don't know, we have as tax professionals, there are hotlines that we can call to get through faster, which in normal times is typically 5 or 10 minutes hold or even shorter. I think last week one of our tax managers was on hold on the supercharger hotline for like 3.5 hours. So that just gives you
that's
a
normal.
sense of
that's very normal for Dan. On our team.
I have a light, quick, non-depressing thing.
Let's go. Let's turn this around in the last few minutes.
Oh my gosh. So we learn really cool things from our clients all the time because they're really smart people who, they work really hard at their jobs and they're always looking for innovation. So there's this really cool website called levels.fyi.
Oh, yeah.
And I learned about this from a client, and basically it's a salary tool. It's a crowdsourced platform where people list salaries and benefits. So if you are trying to measure up an offer from a couple different companies, you can actually join. I think it's one of those things kind of like Glassdoor where like you have to give them some information to get access. It's not just totally open, but it's really neat. So if you're looking at jobs or you just want to see what else is out there, check out levels.fyi. Love to see stuff like this in the community. And I imagine, I think it's a new-ish site. So hopefully in a couple of years, we'll start to see some really cool data coming out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was on there just tinkering around as we were preparing for the podcast. It's kind of neat what you could see, breakdowns of different levels, salary, stock compensation, what to expect. Pretty cool.
Very, very cool. One more from you, John. What you got?
Hochul administration shuts down a gas-fired cryptocurrency plant in New York. And so this is crazy. So I have a brief anecdote here. My hometown had a cogen plant, a cogeneration
Which is
plant
where?
Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania, middle of the coal region. Okay. And what a cogen plant does is it burns waste coal. So not even regular coal, but waste coal from the mines. Okay.
Which is dirtier, right?
Sure. Yeah. Clean coal. Anyway, but I'm from the coal region. I don't even buy that.
East Coast liberal elite propagandist.
Yeah. Okay. So here we are. Burns waste coal, was shutting down a year or two ago, but a crypto company comes in, buys it, and they are burning. Now they're burning waste coal in this plant to run crypto mines. So what I don't want to hear is, if you're a crypto bro, you want to have the ESG portfolio, because my guess is that it's probably not a huge priority since we're just like running computers to mine nothing.
Hot take.
Mining waste coal to run computers to mine something else.
I know. That argument, I wish I had a scientific brain, and I wish I had could actually understand the science behind that and actually understand it. I do like that argument. No, not blockchain. The actual running of I understand how blockchain works. Running of energy and how the metrics work to create, how much does it actually take to create, a Bitcoin, that whole mining technology. Yeah. Anyway, that argument, I love that argument, but I don't know how much longer we can make that. That's the only anti-crypto argument that we have left at this point.
We'll see.
Anyways, on that note,
it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, John Owens. This has been the Liquidity Event. You can email us at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the air. No one has ever done that, but we hope that you do. Show notes can be found at brooklynfi.com/episode 55. The KFI Stance can leave us a review in iTunes or Overcast or whatever podcast platform you like.
If you want to be weird about it, goodbye.
Oh, boy.